gamers. Today we're going to be doing a Mongol guide. So I have done a Mongol guide. I don't know exactly when, but I think the last one that I've done might have been Trade Mongol, which is still viable. It's still good. The Silver Tree Mongol, you can still do it on the ladder. So today I'm going to show you two different build orders for Mongols that you guys can use. Now, I do want to say these games, I'm going to be showing you a couple of games. These games are messy. They're all over the place. But if you're playing Mongol, you already know that Mongol games are always weird. There's always something happening. The games depend quite a lot on where your gold is, where your TC spawn, where your stone is, and so on and so forth. So you're never going to have super clean games. So that being said, the two builds that I'm going to be showing you are the Fast Feudal Mangudai opener into Fast Imperial, and then we're going to be showing you another one that is going to be just Feudal Mongol all-ins. So it's going to be a tower rush into just like an Archer Kashik or Archer Spearman all-in, something like that. So with that being said, the first game I'm going to be showing you is going to be the Fast Mangudai and then into Fast Imperial build, and I'm going to try to explain my thought process. There's no exact build A to B, but you will see the villagers, you will see the idea behind it. I'm going to try to explain everything around it. No matter which Mongol build you use, by the way, I would always advise you to chop one tree completely. The reason for that is if you're going for Barracks Rush, obviously you need to chop a tree. If you are going for Mangudai or trade, I would even say that you can open up with a pasture, because there's a little bit of time until your TC unpacks. So you should just start chopping the tree with 5 villagers and then put 1 villager on the Ubu. And at this point, I can just make a pasture, and that's going to give me steady food income for a while. Now, this game, I'm going to speed up. I opened Barracks because I wanted to do something, but then he scouted it, so I kind of... I don't know if he fell for it or not, but I actually canceled the Barracks and I just went pasture. So you don't need to do that. You just make a pasture, and then you go for the age up. Now, I tried to... He's pushing the deer here. And he's trying to push the deer all the way to TC, so I'm just trying to deny the deer, kill the deer, and so on and so forth. Behind in my base, I'm going to age up with 4 villagers on Deerstone, because we are going to go Mangudai, so we need to have Cunters available, because they're very good with the Mangudai. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 6 or 8 on wood is fine, into 3 on gold for now, and then rally onto the food. The reason you want to get a lot of villagers on wood right now is because you want to be able to build an archer range, you want to be able to build like a tower if you need, if your gold is exposed, depending which civ you play against, which is part of the reason why I say it's very hard to have a strict build order with Mongols, because if my gold wasn't safe, let's say my gold was here, I would have to put a tower here, right? Because the spearmen might arrive and might harass me. But because this game my gold is safe, what I'm going to do with the first part of the wood, I saw that my deer are right here, and I know that he is with the spearman on his side of the map, so I'm just going to go for the early deer in order to get that. So once I age up, we're going to go for an archer range, and we're going to go for survival techniques. Now, survival techniques you should always get if you're going to get 2 deer packs or a deer pack and a boar at some point. It is always worth it, but if you're planning to just get 1 deer pack and then stay around TC, you don't need to get it. Now, Mongol has changed in the way that it's played quite a bit, because Mongol used to be like very much like you camp around your TC, you get some pastures and you get upgrades and you're kind of chilling. These days, Mongol actually skips a lot of the upgrades. So I am getting superior mobility because it's very important to have deer stones forward with your Mangudai. But eco upgrades with Mongol, you actually want to skip for a very long time. And the reason for that is whenever you age up either to Castle or Imperial, the faster you age up, the more value you get. So with Mongol, it's a bit different compared to the other civs. When you age up to Castle, you get more stone from Uvu, you get more damage on your Khan, and you get step readout, which is going to give you more gold as well. So you get like a lot of benefits almost immediately. So skipping the eco upgrades is not necessarily less income. If you hit Castle fast enough, you actually get more income that way than getting the upgrades, if that makes sense. So right now, I have some Mangudai. I have a Khan Hunter over here, and I'm just going to try to harass him. He's going for a lot of units, as you can see. And he knows that I'm going Mongol, so he's making archers. And my plan right now is to just harass as much as possible while slowly... Oh, sorry, give me a second. Thank you for the sub. So my plan right now, and I lose a Mongol here because I'm bad. I did kill one villager, and I am going to kill this pilgrim. So the plan right now, no matter what civ I was playing against, would be to just harass my opponent, whether they're going 2TC or being a bit aggressive or whatever else, is to harass my opponent while slowly going castle. So I'm going to kill this pilgrim. So I killed one villager, and I'm about to kill pilgrim 2, causing some idle time here, so that's very good. Behind this, as you can see, I put a lot of villagers on the gold, or the deer, sorry. Now, if I was playing against French, I would not do this, because French knights would come and kill my villagers. So this is why it's very hard to have a specific build order for Mongols, because depending which civ you're playing against, you will adjust, you know, the way you do things quite a bit. So playing Mongols is more about the idea of what you want to do and how to get there, rather than strictly following a build order, which, like I said, if you've ever played Mongol, you know exactly what I mean. So yeah, he's gonna do a little push here, but I am almost at the castle. If you look at his resources, the pilgrim dies again, so there was some delay in his gold income, and he looks like he wants to... Not actually sure if he was going for a push or fast in, but he's still making units, right? Now I'm doing some harassment here still, and he's gonna end up killing my Uvu. I'm gonna produce more Mangudai, and I only produce Mangudai out of double production. I don't produce single Mangudai, so I'm getting basically double the value with the stone. I'm getting the whistling arrows, which is very, very good because it increases the consignal arrow duration by 5. Improved one increased by 7, I think. And the reason why this is very, very good is because Mangudai have very high DPS. So if you extend your attack speed arrow by another 5 seconds, I mean, you're doubling the how long it lasts. So yeah, right here, what I like to do when I go for Mangudai, I like to go for fast +1 weapon upgrade. The reason for that is because Mangudai attack really fast. They have 4 damage. They attack really fast. So if you upgrade +1 damage, they get a lot of DPS from it. So way more than even archers do. And now this is where the harassment starts. I pick off another 2 workers. And by the way, I am not like making units and focusing on doing damage. I'm aging up, like I'm rushing castle. So killing 5 workers, 3 of them were workers, 2 pilgrims, is very, very good damage. Now he catches me here, which is pretty unfortunate, and I end up losing, I think, 3 or 4 units even here. So that was a very good catch by him. But at the same time, I am aging up. So what is my goal right now? Now let me explain. The end goal in this game is to go Imperial. That's the whole point, because I don't have Keshiks, I don't have archers, I don't have any good fighting units. So the goal here is to hit Imperial as fast as possible without dying and get the units from Kaganet's palace, okay? And this build has been popular for a couple of months now at the top level. If you don't know how to do it properly, you end up dying, but if you do execute it properly and you survive, you're gonna be in a very, very good spot. So what I'm gonna do here is, because he is being aggressive right now, he has a lot of units. He killed my Uvu right here for the stone. I see a lot of units here. I know he's still producing some units here and there. I don't want to die, so I don't want to just keep producing Mangudai. And going Keshiks doesn't make much sense because he has spearmen and he has archer rangers, so he can just make crossbows. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to open some men-at-arms to be able to push back his army, because I don't know how much he's going to commit to all of this, right? At the same time, as I'm aging up, I'm going to try to get the relics, and then once I get the relics, I'm going to just try to kind of bunker down and go fast Imperial. Once you hit fast Imperial, you're going to force your opponent to either match that or to all-in you. Most of the time, people will attack you, and this is the most critical point, I think, in this build, is if you manage to hold the full-on all-in once you hit Imperial, you're going to be in a very good spot. I've had some games against top players where I was 50 workers, I went down to like 13, 14, but I had Kaganet Palace and I still won the game because it's just printing units non-stop. So we're gonna get +1 ranged armor right now. You can see I'm still not getting eco upgrades. Now, if you're floating too many resources, you can get eco upgrades, but you want to save up those resources. And look at right now. You can use the con arrow and you can just force these fights. This is why Mangudai are so good and so annoying, because if the opponent has resources out on the map, you can always find some damage that can be done. You can always find like a hole in the wall, you know, or a place that he's not secure. It just forces the opponent to be very defensive, or at least spam walls and stuff like that, which is going to make them have less units. Behind this, I'm making some men-at-arms. I'm going to get relics. I'm getting another Uwo finally. And right now, if you look, my army count is just men-at-arm Mangudai. I'm using these guys to harass. You do not want to engage with Mangudai into the armies unless you're sure you can take it. All you want to do is to go around and harass as much as you possibly can. That's it. As much as you possibly can. You can make more men-at-arms, especially if you're getting all in. Making men-at-arms and just standing under TC to tank is very good. And if the opponent is going for a lot of armored units, I would probably add crossbows. Like, if his comp was like Chevalier plus archers, I would probably go men-at-arm crossbow. But in this game, he had a lot of spearmen and archers. So even if he starts making armored units right now, I don't need like a crossbow response to it. Like, I'll be more than fine. So, because I know he's playing very defensive, I'm going out on the deer with a lot of villagers to try gather all the deer as fast as possible, and then later on go on the sheep, and that's something that you can and should do as well. So I'm getting the relics. I have double prayer tent going on. I'm just kiting over here with the men-at-arms. I'm trying to do some harassment on the gold. And obviously he has a Templar brother, so I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna run away. And now I am working towards that Imperial. If you look, I'm getting +2 range attack. This is very good because if he dies my TC, I can quickly garrison and do a lot of damage to him. I'm getting a sprinkled emplacement over here. And my goal right now is keep harassing with this little army. Even though the army is very small, very little, it can actually be super annoying and do a lot of damage. So, I catch these pilgrims once again. He loses that, and I think I catch these two as well. So this is like, I'm up to, I think, 8 pilgrim kills after this, or 6, I'm not sure. Now, tier stones are here. I'm just using it to help my villagers gather a bit faster. You can see I'm not producing any units, and I'm going fast Imperial. Now, if you're wondering why doesn't he just push across the map and kill you, or why doesn't he attack, that's because I'm harassing with Mangudai. One thing to note, when you're playing as this kind of style, if you're a Numidan, you don't really know where the Mangudai are at all times. You don't know where they're going to hit. So you kind of want to leave squads of units here and there. And if you don't, the Mangudai can come in and you can lose like 10 villagers all of a sudden. So he's playing it very careful. You know, he's trying to defend every side he can. And I think he denies this relic in the end. But my goal is still to age up as fast as possible. So this is actually one of the slower ones. You can get a lot faster Imperial. If your opponent is playing really passive, this is, I feel like, where the build really shines. Because then you don't have to make a lot of units, you don't have to make men-at-arms, you don't have to make a lot of towers, you can just beeline towards the fast Imperial. Now, one thing to note is, if your opponent is not aware that you're doing this, you don't need to rush it with 20 villagers or something like that, right? You can just age up with like 8 if you want to. I put more here because I know that he's moving across the map. But let's say he wasn't. Let's say he's just chilling in his base. You could just age up with 8. You don't need to rush it super quickly because that way you can build up some more defenses if you want. Maybe make more towers. But at the same time, if you put 20 villagers on it, you will get faster units, but you will also trigger the opponent to attack you. So one of the very important upgrades to get is Military Academy. The reason you want to get Military Academy is so that your Khaganate Palace can produce faster. Now, one thing to note, I don't know if this is true. I was told this, but I have not tested it. So if you're watching this, feel free to test it. Someone told me that if you get Military Academy improved, that you actually lose the production speed bonus completely. So I don't know if this is true. Maybe this is going to get fixed in the future, depending when you're watching this. That's just what I heard, and That's it. So, yeah. So, getting Military Academy is super important for the Khaganate Palace. Okay, so apparently there's a bug. That's what Psycho is saying, that there's a bug. If you get improved Military Academy, you lose the Military Academy bonus for Khaganate Palace. So, yeah, there you go. So the reason you get it, obviously, the first one is because it produces 33% faster, which is obviously very, very good, because I'm going to rely on producing units from the Khaganate Palace. Now, this can be sometimes very unfortunate and very RNG. Like sometimes you might get pow pow. You know, sometimes you'll get something really good. Sometimes you'll get something really bad. So it is a bit of a gamble, but if you're holding an all-in, you have to be really unlucky. The only thing that I could see go really bad if you get like the trebuchet like once or twice in a row. But pretty much any unit you get, you will get value out of it. So now this is the moment where, like I said, he has the option either to camp and go Imperial, or delay the game and try to come back long-term, or all-in. Now, if he was 2 town center, he could go for macro game and just kind of be like, okay, I'm just going to wall off and chill. But because he's on 1 TC, this landmark is giving you a lot of resources per minute. So if he actually goes back and just sits in his base and tries to macro out of it, he will lose the game long term, because I am getting too much value from step readout, and I'm getting too much, I don't know where my step readout is. Oh, it's here. Getting too much value from step readout, and I'm getting too much value from Khaganate's Palace. So he's going to go for the push. All my goals were on this side, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to mine gold. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to just chill here, wait for Khaganate Palace to produce some more units for me, and then I'm going to fight him. Now, one thing that is very important to know is Khaganate Palace produces units from it that are upgraded. Now, when I say that are upgraded, the palace guards that I just received are not only elite palace guards, so they're Imperial palace guards, but if the unit has any upgrades in the building they're being produced from, like barracks, you can see they have plus 30 health. The plus 30 health is from the barracks Chinese unique upgrade that increases palace guard health by 30. So same thing with Rus Knights that you can produce. They will get Boyar's Fortitude, which is 25 extra health. So the reason why this is good is because, well, I don't need to upgrade Man-at-Arms so that palace guards are Imperial. They already come Imperial immediately. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just chilling. You know, I don't need to mine gold. I'm getting my upgrades. I'm getting plus 3 ranged armor. I'm getting bombard in place or cannon emplacement here. I'm just chilling. I'm good. I'm gathering. I'm getting some pastures. And it might feel bad because you're not gathering gold, but I am getting gold units. So even though I'm not gathering it, I am still getting gold from it. And I have a couple of relics. I'm getting stone, which is all very good. And the next one I'm getting is Nest of Bees. So obviously this pop didn't really help me at all. But the next unit I'm getting is Nest of Bees, which is very nice. So he's going to try to push here. But I have a couple of hand cannoneers. My Khan is doing a lot of damage. I have a lot of man-at-arms, some palace guards, and now Nest of Bee comes out. And what I want to do is just defend. Look at that Nest of Bee. Cooking. If I'm not mistaken, this Nest of Bee, yeah, this Nest of Bee also has the additional barrels upgrade. It's like an Imperial Nest of Bee. So there's bombard replacements. He can't really attack. I'm just chilling. I just got another set of units. Oh, I got horse archers. Now I'm getting palace guards again. I'm just getting my upgrades, and I'm slowly pushing out. I'm not in a rush. He's the one that's in a rush. So all I have to do is defend right here, and I'll be in a very, very good spot. So here we go. Now I'm getting elite knights, and I'm gonna slowly start moving to the gold to get my step readout. He has a massive army, but as you will see right here, it is simply not enough. The horse archers are also Imperial horse archers. I used the attack speed arrow. Oh no, I used armor arrow because he has a lot of ranged units. This Nest of Bees is doing so much damage to his army. I'm just chilling. I have knights here that I didn't move. and he gets absolutely destroyed. So this is almost a perfect game from my point of view. Like, everything pretty much went right. I opened a pasture, I got some Mangudai, I did do some damage, I picked off some pilgrims, I lost Uwu, but I didn't take any villager losses. I got 3 relics, so I didn't get 5, I got 3 relics, and then I got Fast Imperial. This is what most of your games will look like in terms of how they're going to play out. Obviously, some are going to be more messy, some less messy, but this is your goal. So I played all these games were just with Mongol, because I was trying to get good games for you guys to show. But like I said, sometimes the games are really weird and they can kind of be like pretty awkward. Now, the next one I will show you is the same build. So I'm going to show you 3 games total, I think. The next one I'm going to show you is against Scarlet Devil, one of the best Chinese players, with House of Lancaster. The reason I'm showing you this is because this is the complete opposite of Templars. Templars are more like an aggressive, it's a lot more similar to like Delhi or French or, civs like English and so on and so forth. Lancaster is one of the boom civs. It's a civ that likes to camp. And I would actually say that if you're playing Mongol and you want to do Imperial Rush, House of Lancaster is a perfect civ to do this against. I also done this in a tournament against CSO, I think, recently in the EGC tournament for 3rd place match. I have done a Mongol versus House of Lancaster, or maybe it was Abbasid, Imperial Rush. He went Abbasid trade on Frisian Marches, and I just went Fast Imperial. I'm thinking about the wrong game. Never mind. Erase that. So, the reason why this is strong against boom civs is because they're sitting in their base, you're going for harassment units, and basically it's the perfect dream scenario for you. The opponent's not attacking you, you can do whatever you want, and they're stuck in their base. And that gives you all the space in the world. Now, this is what I meant by saying the build is not always going to be exactly the same, but the goal is the same. So this game, if this was China or Jushi Legacy, I can go for Mangudai opening. In this game, I go for Keshiks. The reason I go for Keshiks is very simple. Mangudai are not going to be that good because he's going to have Lancaster Castle. Number 1, he's going to have manors that shoot. His villagers can shoot, and he has Yeoman. So going for Mangudai doesn't really make much sense in this case. So I'm basically going to do the same thing I did last game, except I'm going to open Keshiks. And even against other civs, you can do what I just did last game with Keshiks, if that's what you prefer. You can do both. I prefer Mangudai if Mangudai are usable in that matchup. Like if I played against English, you can do both Mangudai and Keshiks, but I would probably go for Keshiks in that matchup, right? But you can do both. You can try both. So in this game, I did something different though. Basically same plan, same everything. But because I went stables and I'm going to make some Keshiks to harass, to deny the stone, to poke at the wood line, to maybe poke at the gold, I'm going to go for professional scouts behind it. Now, you don't have to do this, okay? If you're playing this game right now, what you can also do is just make a tower and make a gur and gather deer. You can make another tower here and just gather with 5 more villagers here and gather safely. That's completely okay to do, but because I have stables already, I'm just gonna go for pro scouts, and I'm producing 2 scouts at a time. I'm gonna produce a total of 6. Meanwhile, on this side, I'm just harassing my opponent. Now, because I made units, because I made Keshiks, this could have been Mangudai too. He cannot gather stone, so he only went for 3 manors, and now he needs to wait for him to have enough spears to push this back, and then he can go on stone once again. Meanwhile, I'm pro scouting his side of the map. And if you can manage to get pro scouting back home, you will get so much food. The Fast Imperial is going to be really good. So I'm going to speed this up because from this point on, it's exactly the same play, exactly the same plan as the last game. I'm going to step readout. I'm going to try get the relics. I'm going to speed through this. I just want to show you that even playing against the Demon Civ, House of Lancaster and their manors, you can still overwhelm them with Kaganat's Palace. So he's doing some walling, I'm doing some harassing, I'm getting the monks to get the relics. I'm getting some crossbows because I suspected he's gonna go knights because he has demon lancers, but he actually didn't go knights. I just wanted to do a couple of crossbows defensively. And if you look, we're 13 minutes into the game. I am making units. It's not like I have 0 units, right? But I am almost at Imperial Age. There's some harassment being done. We're fighting over relics, and I go Kaganav's Palace once again. I'm going for the Military Academy. Next goal that I go for, I'm gonna make some towers just to upgrade them. Now, a funny thing happened this game. This game I played earlier today, and I don't know how, and I still don't know how, but I actually didn't realize he was age 4. So right here, I thought he's age 3. So what I did is I played a bit defensive, and I was like, okay, let's go kill him because he's age 3. I don't want him to age up. And then after the first fight, I realized, oh, he's age 4 actually. Oops. So right now, the Kaganav's Palace is just cranking units. It's just constantly producing. I'm doing some harassment right here, killing some villagers because I have Keshiks. And the perfect combo that you want, by the way, with this kind of setup with Mongol, you can see I have a little bit of everything, but a lot of those are produced for free. Now, there's 2 ways to play this type of Mongol. Number 1 is to go for something like Man-at-Arms, Spearman, Hand Cannoneer, and then just play with the free units you get, and Nested Bees and POW, and then do a slow push with towers. So that's option number 1. Option number 2 is to do full raiding comp, which is just spam Mangudai Keshik. Just Mangudai and rush Mangudai upgrades immediately, like rush the incendiary arrows and the cavalry HP as fast as possible, because that's all you're going to be making. So they're going to do a lot of DPS, you're going to do really well, and that's it. So both styles work. I prefer Mangudai spam because if you get in with Mangudai into an enemy base, you can basically kill all their villagers super quickly. So this is the point where I thought he is castle. If I realize that he is not, I mean, look at the army difference, right? Because he's getting a lot of free units from the demon landmark as well. Now this would have been fine if he's aged down, but he's all upgraded, and that's why this doesn't work out quite as well for me. I'm going to speed up just so you guys can see. I lose Nested Bees because I'm bad. And now we're fighting, and I think this was the point where I was like, wait, when did we get Imperial? Like, I completely missed it. But even though he has more units, we trade somewhat evenly. And the Mangudai are just doing so much damage right now. Relics 3-2, so pretty similar. As long as you don't lose Mangudai, and as long as you get a big stack of them, they're just going to provide you with so much value that, yeah. So even though I messed up there pretty badly, I still end up winning this game because I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm just going to go raid. Because he's slowly pushing me. I have some towers right here for defense. I just go for a counterattack. And this is how the game goes from pretty bad, this is why I love Mangudai, to just... I had 5 villager kills, by the way, before this. And look at now. And this is 13 Mangudai. Let's say it was 20. I just ran in and I killed 27 villagers. Now, if he runs into my base, the outcome is not going to be quite the same because his units are slow and I can just run away. So this is why I prefer this mass Mangudai playstyle, just because it has so much potential to do batshit insane amounts of damage. He's trying to push, but again, I'm just kiting him back and forth. Mangudai's DPS in Imperial is insane because they have 16 damage, which is absolutely crazy. And he's trying to push here, but like I said, he can't have some Mangonels. So even though I messed up this game pretty badly and I'm playing against Lancaster, you can see that the landmark can just carry you through. And from this point on, I can just push him back and raid him to oblivion. So that's how I would play against a defensive Civ. Now I'm going to show you a funny game, a 7-minute game, so we're going to quickly run through it just to show you another example of playing this build against professional scouts. And then we're going to move into the all-in build, which I have one game to show you. When you play against pro scouts, I would definitely advise you to go for Mangudai, just because you can chase down the scouts pretty easily and kill them, whereas Keshiks are not going to be able to catch them. And sometimes you will have games like these, where the opponent does one mistake and Mangudai are extremely punishing. So I'm going to speed up. He actually went 2 scouts here, and I ended up on I have 6 sheep. Yeah, I have 8 sheep now, sorry. And he has 20 and then whatever, 29, let's say. 9 versus 29, okay. So he's going pro scouting, and immediately the moment I age up, I build an archer range, I build stables, I'm getting +1 ranged attack, and I'm immediately moving the Mangudai across the map. He actually messes up, he runs into my Mangudai, and this is kind of what I mean, his Mangudai are so punishing. He loses both scouts right on the start, so even though he started pro scouting, then he cancelled it because he saw the Mangudai. So he's changing his plan because playing against Mangudai with deer stones is very hard to actually catch them. So he goes for a Barbican here, and this is a critical mistake. And like I said, you can punish stuff like this very, very easily. So I put my Khan first. This is very important because Khan has more HP, and if you lose Khan, it's not that big of a deal because he does less DPS than a Mangudai. So I run in the Khan first. He shoots at Mangudai though. I pop the arrow, 1 archer goes down, and now he cannot make the Barbican. So now I'm just rallying Mangudai across the map. I'm producing another 2. This is another strength of Mangudai. You can just use the Falcon above the tree line and just harass your opponent. He's trying to build it again, and he just taps out because that is pretty much game over. From this point on, he's very far behind, and I'm going to hit castle before he even finishes his Barbican at that point. So sometimes games go like that. Obviously, that was a bit unfortunate for him, but just showing you guys the potential. I have tried 3 different games to do an all-in with Mongol. And all the games were somewhat weird. I have 1 game against Abbasid, 1 game against French, and 1 game against House of Lancaster again, where I did the Feudal all-in, but the games didn't really end in Feudal. This one is the only one that did. The other ones I had to age up just because of the matchups. So some matchups you wouldn't be going for the all-ins, like the Lancaster one I won with me doing an all-in, but if I was playing against House of Lancaster with Mongol, I would probably do Fast Imperial Rush. So this is the 1 game that I managed to get for you guys with the Feudal all-in, so let me get through it. So we're gonna start pretty standard, 5 on wood until we get enough for barracks, and then we're gonna put 3 on wood, rest on food, and once we have about 10, 11 on food, we're gonna get that gold for the age up. Now, tower rushing heavily depends which civ you're going against, okay? So if you're going against French, you want to tower rush their gold. If you're going against Byzantine, you want to tower rush their berries. If you're going against Delhi, you can tower rush their gold or their wood line or their berries. If you're playing against Abbasid, well, preferably I would want to tower rush the stone, but because the stone was all the way in the back, I said, you know what, let me just tower rush this. It gives me a lot of vision in the front, and it's going to prepare an attack from here on out. So I just went for that. Now, if he had like a different spawn, maybe the stone was here, I would probably tower rush the stone. So depending which civ you're playing against is which which resource you're going to tower rush, basically. So I'm going to age up in a second. I'm going to age up with 4, and I'm going to immediately start producing units. Now, one thing you can do is something like this. You just use the Falcon, and you can start harassing the villagers. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but sometimes people lose track of it and they just lose a villager randomly. Now, because his Abbasid is going to make a ram and destroy this immediately, so even though I tower rush, it didn't actually do much. Against other civs, this should do a lot better. But the follow-up from this is just going to be Keshik plus archer range. Now, if I'm doing this against a knight civ, what you can do is 2 options. There's always 2 options that you can do. If you're all-inning, never go for Mangudai, okay? What you want is a strong army, a straight-up push. So what I would suggest is your main army is going to be archers, because from this point on, I can produce... producing double archers, I think, costs 80 stone. So I can produce 3.5 times double archer, and by the time that's produced, I can produce another one. So it's gonna be 4 double archer production, so you can crank out archers super quick. Now, if you're playing against a knight civ, you can go for Keshiks double production and just mass Keshiks instead, because you deny them of their gold, so they're not gonna have knights. Or if you're playing against the Knight Cid, you can go archers plus spearmen and just play spearman archer and just commit and try to not let them get on the gold. Because I'm playing against Abbasid, I went for archer plus Keshik. Now this game, because I tower rushed him, this is something that a lot of players do at the top level. They counter-attack the Mongols. So the reason he's not doing 2TC is if he did it, he would probably die very quickly right after. So what he's doing is he's trying to kill my Ubu or trying to put pressure on my side of the map. So he's got a lot of horsemen, some spearmen, some archers. And from this point on, the goal here would be to raid with Keshiks, not lose them preferably, and then mass up an archer mass that's good enough so that you can kite and you can get +1/+1, you can get upgrades, and then eventually you can get rams. Now, the really good thing with Mongol all-in Feudal is deer stones. This is very underrated because you get movement speed. And because you get movement speed, even if opponent has cavalry, you get 15% movement speed on your archers and you can kite the units so much easier. Now again, this game, because I'm a bad player, I actually lose deer stones, or it gets caught because I didn't expect him he's gonna have this many units. Because I thought he would either transition to something or go fast castle or maybe at this point add a second TC. But he just kept cranking out units non-stop. So right now, because I see, okay, he's committing to a lot of melee units, I'm just gonna chill in my base, not overcommit. Because I got him to stay in Feudal, which is a place where I have knights and he doesn't. So the longer this game goes, if we both have these units, it's gonna be better and better for me. I got a tower on my gold, I'm getting upgrades, I'm getting +1 ranged armor, and I'm just chilling. In the back, I'm doing some raiding with Keshiks, which is what I mentioned earlier. You always want to try to raid if you have Mangodai or Keshik, because you can potentially do like game-ending damage with it. So I'm trying to check where is he on food, and I see that his food sources are over here. I'm getting some eco upgrades now, and in a little bit I'm going to be like, you know what, I think I'm ready to commit, let's go for a push. So if you look at the army count, 32 archers. Now, looking against this, it might look like I'm going to lose the fight because he's 23 horsemen and I have 34 archers. But this is when you reach what I like to call critical mass, where you have so many archers, you're almost one-shotting horsemen. And if you're almost one-shotting horsemen, the engagement becomes a lot easier for you. So he has some horsemen here, he was trying to do a raid. I push in, and I realize that his horsemen are missing, so I just push into the food immediately. He ends up losing a couple of spearmen, and already this is looking really bad for him. Now I see that the horsemen are coming, I kill the tower, more spearmen go down, and now the only thing you want to do is protect your archers from the horsemen. But if you look, you see how many of them are shooting, they're almost one-tapping the horsemen. So even though technically, I mean, literally horsemen counter archers, because of how many I have, they're still doing pretty good work. And I can pick off the spearmen where my Keshiks can just kill all the horsemen after. So as long as my Keshiks stay alive, he basically will not have a counter to them. So he's doing the fight, but obviously it's not going very well. I don't think I've lost any Keshiks here. Maybe I lost one. I lost a lot of archers, but at this point the game is just straight up over. So usually with this kind of build, whenever you're doing an all-in, even if I had deer stones, by the way, this fight would be even better for me. What you want to do with Mongol is, with feudal all-ins, you want to put early pressure with a tower and then follow through basically with an all-in. So a lot of the Mongol gameplay that we've seen in the last 2-3 years, you do a tower rush and then you do trade. So it was a different kind of pressure. You're tower rushing the opponent to slow them down while you're booming with traders, okay? Now, if you're doing this all in, which is very strong and very good because you're using all your stone to produce units, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up with the tower, but not to extend your economy, but to actually push down the enemy economy even further and basically extend your lead by just having normal economy against their worse eco. So again, if you're playing against Byzantine, this is why Mongol is so strong against Byzantine. If you tower rush their berries, they don't have oil. If they don't have oil to produce, they can produce maybe Limitane Archer or Limitane Horseman, in which case you have knights, budget knights, Keshiks, and a lot of archers with movement speed from Deerstones, so it's a very favorable matchup. So no matter what matchup you play, you always want to tower rush whatever is important to that civ the most. If you're playing against Malian, you tower rush the gold. If you, what other civs examples do we have? If you're playing against China or Jushi Legacy, you can tower rush their gold too, or you can tower rush wherever their food is, or you can tower rush their berries, their woodline, whatever else. Whatever is gonna set you up for an all-in, that's what you want to go for. Now, some civilizations, and the reason I'm showing you 2 builds in this video is because for this season and the next season, basically, I'm going to be making 2 videos per guide so that I don't have to do 18 videos every single season for every single civilization. And on top of that, I have a trade guide on my YouTube channel as well. So if you want to trade, learn how to trade with Mongols, you can do that too. Now, so now you have an option. You can go trade Mongol, you can go feudal all-in Mongol, or you can go for fast Imperial rush strategies. Now, when do you do each strategy? That depends on 2 things. Number 1 is the matchup you're playing, and number 2, the map you're playing. So if you're playing a map like Prairie, for example, trading is very good because the markets are in the corner. Or if you're playing a Dry Arabia and the markets are in the corner, you can go trade. That's a very good spot. But if you're playing Dry Arabia and the market is kind of in the middle of the map behind your base, you don't want to go trade there. Then I would say, is your opponent playing a campy civ? If the answer is yes, like let's say a House of Lancaster or a civ that you feel like you cannot beat in feudal, then just go for fast Imperial rush playstyle. If you're playing against a civilization that you can do a good tower rush and block a lot of their good resources like Byzantine and French, I would not go fast imp against those civs, nor would I trade against those civs. I would just all in them because they have resources that are extremely important to them. Gold for French, oil for, or berries for Byzantine. And if you block those 2, it opens up for an all-in right after that. So that's how I would pick the matchups, and that's how I would pick the build orders if I was playing Mongol. And that's pretty much it. This is gonna be how to play Mongols in Season 10, which is the season right now, depending when you're watching this video, and Season 11 with 2 build orders. And like I said, if you want to learn how to trade, there's that on my YouTube channel as well. I have already recorded French guide, English guide, and the next guide we will be doing is Rus. I'm not sure which builds I'm going to do with Rus. Right now I have planned 2 TC and maybe an updated pro scouting guide because Rus feudal all-in is not that great and I don't really know any other build with Rus, so that's it. After that, we're gonna do ABBA, Delhi, China, HRE, and so on and so forth. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, brother. Check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now. And if you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.